Lockdown Episode 3 of Happiness begins with alarm bells wailing. Yi Hyun makes it to Sae Bom's location, but things are eerily quiet. Of course, the reason for this is that everyone is out back, dealing with the zombie threat on the truck. Sae Bom and Yi Hyun, with their impressive plot armor, manage to get hold of Sun Young in the swarm and bring him to safety. A flash grenade works perfectly to finish things off, knocking out all those aboard the truck and keeping everything contained for now. It's a close call and Sae Bom knows it. In fact, she calls out Tae Seok and questions just how long he's going to keep everything a secret for. And just to re-emphasize the point, she bangs on the lorry door. Yi Hyun and Sae Bom head back home, where the pair wind up talking to Sae Bom's mother via video call. Only, the loud banging and shuffling from upstairs distracts them. When Yi Hyun heads up to investigate, Jung Yi Hyun and Sang Hee answer, both looking glum and acting very suspiciously. Yi Hyun tries to press them on their story, but they're not budging. Yi Hyun does some investigating into the strange goings-on in the unit but doesn't seem to get anywhere. The story about them taking leave from the dermatology clinic does seem to hold weight. Sae Bom, having heard enough when the banging returns later that day, checks on them at the unit. Noticing blood on Jung Yi Hyun's sleeve, she barges inside and begins looking around. Bloody handprints on the bathroom walls are enough for this slimy man to push her inside. There, she comes face to face with Min-jae, who has very clearly been turned. Unfortunately, Min-jae gets out, and as she chases Jung Yi Hyun through the hallways, she comes face to face with Seo-yoon. Thankfully, Sae Bom is there to save the girl, putting a pillow up against Min-jae's face. Buying them some crucial time, Yi Hyun jumps in and manages to stop her. With the woman contained for now, the rest of the apartment block head out together to pick up disinfectants and all sorts of other bits and pieces to make sure they don't catch whatever Min-jae has. It doesn't take long after this for Tae Seok to get on the news and report to the nation that this mad person disease is real. Yi Hyun, well aware that Tae Seok is holding Min-jae at the secret facility, heads over to check up on the woman. Tied down to the bed, she is apparently a mess inside her head and by the end of the night, does pass away. Yi Hyun remains determined to figure out who's responsible for this and heads back to Jung Yi Hyun's place. Given Min-jae's skull was bashed in, and Jung Yi Hyun's golf clubs were originally covered in blood, it looks as if he bashed his wife's brains in. It would appear as if this disease is just a front, especially as Min-jae is the one who owns the clinic. Killing her would be advantageous for Jung Yi Hyun's career prospects. Sang Hee backs up the whole story too, and her testimony is enough for Jung Yi Hyun to get arrested. However, more bad news is on the way. Tae Seok speaks to Sae Bom outside and confirms that the pill dealer not only sold the pills to Min-jae but also to numerous other people in the complex too. The only option left is to contain the whole apartment complex, sealing them off to the outside world. The last super episode 4 of Happiness Season 1 begins with our residents settling in as the makeshift walls are put up around the complex. In the parking lot, Dong Hyun heads down, intending to leave, but finds a number of other people have the same idea. Unfortunately, the garage is locked and no one can leave. A handcuffed Jung Yi Hyun rings Hee Sung for legal advice as he scrambles outside. Only, Yi Hyun catches up to him outside and stops the call. As Jung Yi Hyun pleads human rights and a number of other loopholes to jump through, the reality of their situation soon becomes apparent. They're all in this together, and in this for the long haul. A residents' meeting at 5 p.m. in the underground gym is issued for all residents in Building 101. Among those, of course, are Seo-yoon and her mother, separated from the tall walls erected outside. Seo-yoon's mum rings Sae Bom, who's currently looking after the girl, and informs her of a heart condition the girl has. If she so much as gets a cut, Seo-yoon needs to be rushed into hospital, so it's a pretty precarious situation. As the meeting gets underway, the residents learn that they're to be kept in lockdown for a week. Yi Hyun tries to reassure the others, although it's clear there's no management inside the building, save for one cleaner outside the door. With meals dished out, the meeting completely breaks down when No Yeon-ok and her husband turn the meeting into an opportunity to promote their church and leadership capabilities. It is a pretty shameless stunt and the others aren't falling for it. Now, one of the residents that seems to be getting a lot of attention here is Andrew, a cleaner. His real name is Jin and his parents admit that he's a little autistic, giving himself an alias because he aspires to be like a superhero he saw in a drama. Another resident that's been acting a little shifty is Sae Bom, who sneaks phone calls and seems to be drinking a fair amount of water. Although he claims to only take supplements, there's a possibility that he could have taken pills. Yi Hyun sees him as the most likely suspect and decides to keep an eye on him. While things are calm in the apartment complex, Tae Seok and the wider country of Korea is in a state of flux. News of the madness disease has caused the world to go into high alert, with the country about to shut down. It also appears that Tae Seok's boss, the chairman, is infected too given his extreme thirst. To make matters worse, the chairman was the one who pushed Next into the market initially, wanting Korea to go up in flames. The next day, the residents enjoy a nice meal up on the rooftop. This is essentially the calm before the storm, as the potentially infected person, Sae Bom, manages to slip away. Yi Hyun and Sae Bom give chase though, but things take a nasty turn when blood spatters and a frantic blood-covered resident are snatched up by the infected. This is it. The beginning of the end has arrived. As some of this carnage spills to the courtyard outside, Andrew watches on from his apartment high above. Inside building 101, Tae Seok rings Sae Bom, telling her it's all over for the other buildings in the complex and their only hope now is staying inside. As one of the infected security guards gnashes his jaws at the door, this looks like it's going to be easier said than done.